The crisis is completely spiraling out of Colombo. As we got you the visuals earlier that the President House was stormed, protesters, as per some of the social media reports, went inside the President's house, and this time around they are protesting outside the Prime Minister's residence. What we are picking up is that perhaps visuals which are going to back it as well, which show how the PM is on target and his house also has been breached. Is that true? We'll get you more details on that, but that is a very worrying sign as Sri Lanka descends into complete chaos and commotion. The writing is on the wall for the Rajapaksas. They must go. Even as we speak, there is a crucial meeting which is currently underway of the party, which will perhaps ask Rajapaksa to step down. Gotabaya, unlike the rest of the Rajapaksas, has not yet stepped down. Mahinda Rajapaksa had done so, but Gotabaya had clung onto his chair. Today, as the protesters started breaching the barricades outside the presidential palace, as they started scaling up the walls of the presidential palace, the security, as per sources, the security managed to whisk Gotabaya away to safety. The crisis is spiraling, and now first on times now we are getting you these visuals coming in from outside the Prime Minister's residence as well. Now the reason why this is very significant is because we are looking at what is going to be the next step. The current Prime Minister, Wickremesinghe, he could be taking on as the next interim president, or the person who is going to be the power of authority. And even as that meeting is happening, you can see the visuals of that on the right-hand side to figure out whether the call is going to be unanimous to sack Gotabaya Rajapaksa, ask him to resign as the President of Sri Lanka. Already the Prime Minister too is facing the heat. You can see visuals from outside the Sri Lankan Prime Minister Wickremesinghe's residence. As you can see, there are several protesters. They are standing atop what appears to be big cans and vehicles. They are waving the flags of Sri Lanka, and it's important for us to point out how this has been seen and coined as a nationalist uprising against the corrupt Rajapaksas. At least that's what the protesters have been saying. As you can see, they've already climbed on some of the barricades, and it seems that they are trying their best to breach the walls of the Prime Minister residence now. After the President, the wrath of the protesters have been turned towards the Prime Minister's residence that you can see in the visuals. What's also very significant is the visual that you can see on the right-hand side of your screens, that of the meeting which is happening. So the showdown continues on one hand while the meeting is happening to decide on the fate of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. So let me go across to Priyank Tripathi. Priyank, things clearly spiraling out of control in Colombo.
Yes, certainly, Meghna. What it appears that these protesters who had gathered at the guard base, which is 2 kilometers away from the residence of the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, now they have moved to this location because that is a general pattern for these protesters, and they have gathered in large number. But this area has been made like a fortress. It's not like the residence of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, where the security personnel allowed these protesters to barge inside the residence of the President's house. And later to that, this kind of violence, vandalism also happened inside that. On the other side, we also broke that information that the Prime Minister of the country is also holding a high level meet to decide that what should be the further strategy. And Meghna, this is very important because Ranil Wickremesinghe could also become the acting president of Sri Lanka for 1 month if Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigns. This is because of the section 40, Article 40 of the Constitution of Sri Lanka, because the Sri Lankan president is decided by the Presidential Election Special Provision Act number 2 of 1981. And according to this provision, Meghna, the Constitution allows the Prime Minister of the country to become the president of the country for the month, and the